I'm wearing my Nike LD Waffle Sakai black nylon at a Target with a college attached. I ordered this from Target because of price match, but I set it to the wrong store. There's some video game stores in Yonkers, so I decided to check them out. The only time I ever think of Yonkers is when I think of Tyler the Creator or World War Z. Today, we're going to get some video games. Located near a library is this retro exchange store. When I tried to go here, I was greeted with a locked door. I'll be honest, it was a very unusual way to enter a store. One thing I can honestly say about this store is it is very well stocked. You see stacks and stacks and stacks of games everywhere here. But with such abundance comes a problem. Most things aren't priced, and the things that are priced pretty high. Now, because there are such high prices here, however, you might be able to find some things that you might not be able to find elsewhere. That last copy of a game that you're looking to complete a collection, or something you've been looking for a long time. Everything here is locked behind a case, however, so every time you want to inquire about a price of something, you have to talk to a staff member. Part of the reason I was game to go here is because in the past, I'd actually completed part of my Wii U collection here, so I was game to see if they had any N64 titles I could pick up. Now, universally speaking, I kind of use price charting as my baseline on what video games should cost. Now, I don't think video game stores have to adhere 100% to what price charting has, especially because video game stores have rent, employees, a number of expenses to take into account. That being said, when I did inquire about some of these N64 games here, prices I was quoted were 50 to 200% above price charting. I'm not looking to pay garage sale prices, but I am looking to get a fair deal. At the end of the day, this is Yonkers, very close to New York City, so I sympathize with the rent and the prices. For such a small store, the selection is incredible. That being said, if you're looking for a deal, I would look for things that are actually stickered, so that way you aren't given a ballpark price. This store is worth going to if you're in the area, but I don't know if I'd go out of my way to go here. Well, hey there. We are going to some video game stores today in Connecticut, in Yonkers, and in the rest of New York. I hope you've been following along, but if you haven't, that's okay. Let me catch you up. We're trying to go to 100. That's right, 100 video game stores. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope we can get some hidden gems while we're out there. The main goal for me is to collect N64 games. I'm going for a complete US set, but if I do that, great. If I don't, that's okay. That's okay. We're out here having fun. But anyways, the name of the show is Flip and Dip. Every time I pass a GameStop, I get an urge to stop for games. I don't know what's in there. I never know what's in there until I go through the doors. This is a pro tip. Every time you go into GameStop, ask them if they've got any older games. One of the things I dislike the most about a GameStop sale is conveyance. It tells you vaguely what's on sale, but it never actually tells you what's on sale. 90% of the time, I don't like the clothing at a GameStop. I just don't think it's well designed. But I actually kind of like this shirt. It's giving me like Etsy designer vibes. Whenever I see games from at least one generation back on shelf, I'm always really excited to see it. This is not a good selection, but still, it's nice to see a Pikmin just chilling right next to a Super Mario World 3D. This GameStop in Yonkers was the coldest GameStop I've ever been to, but the staff was really nice. Across the street from this AutoZone sits another video game store. The name of the store is actually Retro Exchange. It's owned by the same owners of the previous Retro Exchange. It's about 2 o'clock and unfortunately this store is locked. Some guy on the street told me that the owner might have stepped out, so I gave the phone number listed on Google a call and heard nothing back. I waited around for 15 minutes and nobody came back. It's never my goal to talk trash about a small business, but it is a bummer when you go somewhere and they're just not there during their posted hours. I totally understand that emergencies happen and there could be any number of reasons why there was nobody here, but unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be coming back anytime soon. On my way back to Connecticut, I stopped by New City, New York, where I see this dabbing apple, or as I like to call it, a dapple. Get Good Gaming Company is 50% video games, 50% trading cards. The first thing I notice is a Brawler 64 made by Retro Fighters. It fixes a lot of the perceived flaws of the N64 controller. If you're a card person, you might want to come here. They've got a ton of trading cards, but they also have a lot of sports cards too. I don't collect these, but you might. This is a game I've been wanting to pick up for a while. It was missing a manual, so I left it here, but it's totally weird. So I've been picking up TurboGrafx-16 cards for a while now in anticipation for the Analog Duo. They had an amazing collection here. They actually had a pretty good selection of N64 games and a ton of commons, which I'm looking for right now. I didn't realize until I started picking things up that they were actually doing a Black Friday sale, so I picked up some of these games and a few more.
Click anywhere in the circle, see if you get anything.
I spend enough money here to spin this circle and hopefully win something. Let's see how I do. Shucks. That's okay. I'm a Bach boy wearing my classic Club C's to this Bob's Stores. I'm at the shops at Buckland Hills looking for a store. But first, let's go to this Unsettled Geeks store. This store is mostly made up of giant anime figurines. As a kid growing up in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, they didn't have anything like this where I lived. Most of the things here I can totally appreciate, but I don't think I'd personally collect, unless I had like a warehouse where I could fit like all of this stuff. Now, I don't constantly mean to be talking bad about Pops. They're just not for me. Right now, my basement is set up mostly like a library and like a filming studio, but this makes me really want to rethink the way I've got everything set up. I'd really like it if some of my game shelves, just had stuff like this on it instead. By the way, this is a part of a larger set that when put together makes the Power Rangers Command Center, which is just blowing my mind. It's no secret that malls in America aren't doing that great. That being said, I can never tell with this mall if it's dying or thriving. Half the stores are closing, half the stores are new, but some of the stores are like national chains, so I really just can't figure it out. That being said, I'm here to go to Stateline Video Games. Sitting in their front display is this beautiful Pioneer Laserdisc player. It is the thing that I hope more than anything else to find at a thrift store one day. One of the most underrated things at a video game store is a junk pile. I really just love going through these things and seeing if I can find anything on the cheap that I can, try and repair. PlayStation 2 controllers, on the other hand, are almost always broken. This broken pile is a reminder that while I love original hardware, maintenance is key, but also very difficult as these consoles get older and older. I'm a sucker for Nintendo Power. Growing up, my brother used to get Nintendo Power magazine. Whenever he got rid of them, he just would give them to me. But low-key, I was always kind of a hoarder when it came to video games. My brother and my sister always used to give me their old video games. Chilling out in their display case, they had some really heavy hitters, especially when it comes to Super Nintendo. Is this the going rate for these games nowadays? I have no clue. But they also had a ton of N64 games in box, reasonably priced. As a collector, I have a ton of collections that I'm just very low-key trying to get. Black Box NES games is one of those collections. Now, the thing is, I don't really want to spend a ton of money collecting these, but if I ever find one that's really underpriced, I go ahead and pick it up every time. This one is only $35, which is a great price, so I'm picking it up. A vast majority of the things I actually want to buy at the store are on the very top shelf, and nothing on the top shelf is actually for sale. This is what I like to call museum pieces. A lot of stores do this where collectors that work at the store will bring in their own collections. It is a bummer because often the collections that they bring in are much better than the things that they have in stock. Overall, decent store, worth checking out. This fellow reached out to me on Instagram to let me know he had opened a video game store in Connecticut. So yeah, I said I'd come by. What struck me first about this store is how crazy organized it was. Yes, I get it. It's a brand new store, but at the same time, they did a very good job putting things where they're supposed to be. The second thing that struck me is the prices. Reasonable across the board. A Game Boy Advance for $65. Another thing, I know I keep going back to this store being brand new, but well stocked. A pretty good variety of just random things. Another thing they had going on, tons of VHS. Usually at video game stores when they sell VHS, they're pretty inflated in terms of price. Not bad prices at all on VHS. Also, Small Soldiers. Never see it in this box, I always see it in a clamshell. Speaking of clamshell Small Soldiers, there's also a copy right here under Small Soldiers of Jingle All the Way. I've been looking to collect as many copies of Jingle All the Way as I can between now and Christmas, and I found my first one. This is the first time I've seen Marvel vs. Capcom under $100 in a hot minute. This store, in addition to being a video game store, is also a toy store, but this thing right here is somewhere in between. In general, they've got a ton of selection when it comes to toys. I don't really have any idea what the valuation of toys are. All I can say is this is neat, which isn't really, too helpful. I do know I enjoy Power Ranger toys. These in particular are interesting because this this actor is being investigated for fraud, so it's highly unlikely that they'll include his face in any other iterations of the Red Ranger. Also, RIP, man. The Green Ranger was always my favorite, followed up by the White Ranger and then maybe the Red Ranger, but you know, it's a bummer he's gone. I've been wanting a copy of Zelda Four Sword Adventures for a very long time. I really should have picked up one of these, but I didn't, which is a bummer. But yeah, this is the only Zelda GameCube game that I need. I gotta say, this store is great overall. Good selection, great prices, relatively small, but they pack in a lot of good stuff in that amount of space. You should definitely check it out if you are in the area, and even if you aren't, it's kind of worth going there because there's a couple of thrift stores in the area, so you can always hit this and then some other stores as well. Speaking of thrift stores in the area, here's a Goodwill. One of the few games they've got is this copy of Grand Theft Auto 5 just chilling for $30 in the case. But they also have this Dino Fury Power Rangers toy. My kid really loves these Tony's toys. I don't know anything about Pete the Cat though. The electronics section overall, kind of lacking, but this is a fog machine. Though it is a good sign if a Goodwill has a Wii balance board. For some reason, this Goodwill has a ton of sealed games and puzzles as well. Fun fact, the WWE is headquartered in Connecticut. Whenever I'm looking at VHS, I'm mainly looking for two things: Titanic on VHS and other weird things. But this is actually pretty expensive for Titanic, $5. But I'm gonna pick it up because I haven't seen Titanic in a minute. The first time I actually ever saw somebody collect a ton of one VHS was Jerry Maguire. The people at Everything Is Terrible did that, and it was amazing. My kid's really into space right now, so I'm gonna get him this book and this thing over here too. I think he'll like it. I like Garth Brooks, but I think I'm an even bigger fan of the story of Chris Gaines. In a completely unrelated note, here's a Hannah Montana album. And other than GTA, this is the second video game that I've seen in the store. When I was a kid, I really enjoyed Disney albums that I'd listened to, so I think I'm going to get this one for my kid. Maybe he'll be into it. I'm not exactly sure why I'm drawn to this Barbie thing, but I'm picking it up. It's $2. I did a reverse Google image search, couldn't really find anything about it. Probably an Etsy thing. We've got time for one more game exchange, and this one's in Wallingford, Connecticut. Of all the game exchanges in Connecticut, this one's right there in the middle. For reasons I can't explain, I've really wanted a full set of Game Boy Colors. I also can't remember if I had a Atomic Purple or just a regular purple Game Boy growing up. There's so many games that I'm not sure if I want for a price point. Like, I want these, but not $100 want these. I love Metal Gear Solid so much, but I just feel like this is a game I should wait until it's $20. I wonder why this golf game is so expensive. This is probably the fair market value of this game, but just out of principle alone, I can't bring myself to spend $80 on a repro labeled game. But on the flip side of things, I actually don't mind these Dreamcast repro labels. They're kind of cool looking. I'm still going for that complete N64 set, and you know, I'm still going for commons. So this one right here, it's an unusual color, it's blue, and I needed it, so I'm gonna pick it up, why not? More and more, I'm seeing these Switch travel cases go down in price. I don't need another one, so I'm gonna leave them here. The Japanese version of Akira is actually the first manga series I ever purchased. Top notch. Overall, not a bad store. Nothing to write home about or go out of your way for. But you know, if I were giving out Michelin stars, I'd give this like 1, you know? Not bad at all. Well, I hope you enjoyed all of that. I know I did. Well, anyways, yeah, that's the stores we've been to. I've got a big episode planned for the next one. We're going out of state. We're going somewhere a little bit more exciting than just the tri-state area of Connecticut and New York and New Jersey. And hopefully we're going to go to just some game stores that I've never been to ever, which is going to be a lot of fun. But anyways, if you want to see that, and if you want to see the rest of the stuff I make, just hit that subscribe button, you know, hit that like button, do whatever you want. And also, I make a ton of shorts. So a lot of the stuff that doesn't end up here ends up on shorts. So check that out too. And yeah, if you have any suggestions of any great stores across that old US of A, or really, you know, worldwide, let me know, and I'll try to go to those stores. And if you have any other content ideas that you'd like to have me here, by all means, I'm here to listen, I'm here to comment back. So you have a lovely day, and thanks for joining me. Peace.